I don't have a very high opinion of people. I think people are boring and stupid and, generally speaking, out of their mind. Yeah. Not you, of course. You are special. You are unique and interesting. I'm talking about everybody else. Everybody else. People are so boring. So boring. And let me give you a public service announcement here. Never tell other people your dreams. Never tell them your dreams. Like, nobody cares about your dreams. Nobody. It doesn't matter, like, how crazy the plot twist is at the end, how vivid the dream was. We don't care. In fact, humanity as a whole cares so little about your dreams that there is an entire branch of science dedicated to listening to your dreams for a fee. There's people making a living out of allowing you to sit down and tell them your dreams because nobody else wants to listen to them. That's how little we care. So do yourself a favor. If you have a dream, just get a diary. Don't share it in public. Nobody cares. I had a friend in college who told us her dreams. She would sit on the table at the cafeteria. Do you want me to tell you what I dreamed last night? It was so crazy. And people, we already knew her plan because it wasn't the first time. So people would be like, And so a few minutes later, like, seeing how lukewarm the audience was, she would try again. You're not going to believe the dream I had last night. But eventually, she couldn't hold it in. She had like verbal gonorrhea. She had to just let it all out. And she was like, well, I was in this super long hallway. It kind of looked like a hallway, but it could have been also like the subway station. I'm not sure. And there was people, but I couldn't see their faces. Like, no matter how close I got to them, I couldn't see their faces. And then at the end, like all the way to the other side, there was a house. And I think it was my grandmother's house. But it could also have been like my aunt's house because they're very similar. But maybe it was my grandma's because the ceiling, oh my God. And so what happened was, as this woman made a habit of telling us her dreams, people started to anticipate her arrival. So whenever we saw her car approaching or like her walking towards us, people started to clear the table. Like, oh my God, I think, it's so late, I have class. And everybody started leaving, except for me. I didn't notice this pattern, that I was always like the last person sitting with this woman and always listening to her stupid dreams. I didn't notice. You wanna know why? I'll tell you why. Because I didn't notice she was particularly boring. To me, she was just as boring as everybody else. I saw no difference between her telling me her dreams and other friends telling me like the crazy story of what happened to them last night, or the other idiot at the table telling me for time number 16 how, oh my God, I can't function without coffee. I have to go get my coffee. Oh my God, isn't coffee great? I can't do anything unless I have my cup of coffee. To me, they're all the same. They're all at the same level of boredom. But apparently, and this is something that shocked me, these boring, gray, beige people, they have standards too for boredom. I didn't have a clue. And I realized because I eavesdropped on a conversation between two other people who were bad-mouthing the dream girl behind her back, saying how bored they were of her stories. And so that got me thinking, People in general are virtuosos of boredom. They are so used to boring things, like being boring, being around boring people, that they have like 20 different words for boredom, like Eskimos with snow. You know what I mean? Like when it snows, all you see is snow, but an Eskimo is so used to snow that they have 20 different words for snow. And to me, this is the same thing. This is the same thing. You know, I had another friend telling me, like, one of the friends that were bad mouthing her was like, last night was so crazy. We went to this pub and it was full of people. I think there were like 150 people, but it could have been 200, really. Because we were looking for a table, but we couldn't find one because it was so full of people. Come to think of it, maybe it was more close to like 180, you know? The occupancy of this place is probably higher. Anyway, we were waiting for a table, and then this guy comes out, and he was wearing a leather jacket, and you know what? I think it was 150 people. I mean, to me, it's the same thing. It's the same damn thing. Like, I don't care. I don't care what happened to you last night. Nothing fun or interesting could have happened to you last night, going to the same place everybody else goes to, in the company of the same boring beige people that you hang out with, talking about the same subjects that you usually talk about. There's nothing fun that could possibly come out of that equation. So spare me the agony. So to me, they're all the same. They're equally boring. Equally boring. Man, on the topics of conversation. What about the game last night? My pet is my child. Adulting, so hard. Tinder bios, such a scam. The weather, crazy weather. You know, there's like 5 or 6 of these, and they're in constant rotation. You see the same group of people every day, and they're going to talk to you about the same things every day, over and over again. And you're like, we already talked about this last time, didn't we? Like, I've already said what I think about this. Do I have to repeat it? Should I reword it a little so it's not so eerily similar? I don't know what is expected of me in this situation. And the truth is, I have realized with boring people, they actually enjoy talking about the same things because it's not a real conversation. Think about it. It's not a real conversation. There's no exchange of information happening. It's just like everybody scratching each other's back, like, you belong, you belong, you belong, you belong. And they think, I belong. Yes, you belong, dear. You know, they're all talking about the same things. They all know what each other's opinions about the subject is. In fact, they choose the same topics because they know what everyone else has to say about it. They know there's not going to be any friction. They know it's going to be frictionless and smooth sailing and absolutely boring. And that's exactly what they want. That's exactly how they like it. I came to a conclusion after a lot of pondering that they probably receive a manual, like a secret manual that they all have read. It's organized alphabetically, and it has all the topics of conversation that you could possibly use in public, like in social settings. The boring manual, by the way, the boring manual, I'm convinced they have it. It's not just a metaphor. I think they have it, and it's a secret manual, and they get it from the boring office. And it's leather bound and in beige. It goes with everything. And it lists all the things that you can possibly talk about, but it also lists like the possible opinions you can have about it. They'll have like a for opinion and an against opinion, and then a couple more reasonable opinions and centrist opinions. So you can mix and match and build your own personality out of that. It's great. It's updated every couple of years. You know, every couple of years they come up with a new boring manual, and they have a very big distribution, but for some reason, some people don't receive it. Some people don't get the newest boring manual. It's kind of like when you get a new operating system update, and everybody updates it, but you're still like using Snow Leopard from like 2015. You're not up to date with the latest apps. Well, this is the same thing. Like, some people are stuck in the past, and they keep repeating like topics of conversation that were maybe allowed in the past, like in the two editions ago, but they're definitely out for this edition, and they didn't get the memo. And this is when people start looking old and like obsolete. And so they're still talking to you about like shoes. I can't help myself. It doesn't matter if I'm like on a diet of ramen. If I see a pair of cute shoes, I just have to buy them. Half of my shoes don't even go with anything I wear. I don't care. I love them. I think they're beautiful little sculptures that I can keep in my closet. And I kept thinking, like, you're still in Snow Leopard. Please get your software update. Please, you're making a fool out of yourself. I never got a copy of the manual, you know? To me, it's very puzzling, confusing at times, because I never got that manual. And nobody gave it to me. I don't know if they hand it out at some sort of beige people office that they go to. But I do know, and I have noticed, that they are all very much synchronized, because I'm the person who's always bringing up new subjects to conversations, and it doesn't always work very well with boring people, you know? Because when I bring up a new subject, I have realized there's like two different reactions. Like the first one is, it does not register. I swear, I'm not making this up. Do the test. Approach a group of people that you're familiar with and hit them with something completely out of left field. Completely out of left field. Like, start talking to them about black holes. What do you feel about black holes? Do you think black holes are real? Are you afraid that a black hole is going to swallow you up while you're sleeping one night? Nobody saw it coming. It's just swallowed everybody. You know, throw them something, like something interesting, something thought-provoking, something unexpected, and you'll see they'll not register. They will maybe laugh, haha, you're so funny, and then continue to talk about the Super Bowl. My dog is my baby, you know. The second thing is they get mad. They get mad. They give you a backhanded compliment, or maybe they also just straight up tell you something offensive, because you're testing them and they don't like that. You're testing them. They didn't have an opinion in the manual for this. Now you're forcing them to come up with something, and what if it's not the right thing to say? You know? What if this is going to give them like a social hit? They don't want to do a faux pas in front of all of their friends. What are they going to say to this? You're putting them in a tight spot, so you are the problem. And throughout the years, I have realized that it is a mark of being well-bred. So it's a mark of class to be a little bit irreverent in front of other people. And so these people, I have come to the realization that they have like an antenna somewhere, and they synchronize with one another. They synchronize each other, which is very important to them. They get synchronized. How do they get synchronized? Well, they get synchronized by doing things like at the same time. Kind of like, I don't know if you know this, but when you have like metronomes and you put them in the same table and they start like at a different rate, like they're like completely different. But after a while, they synchronize and they start going exactly the same. These people are the same. And that is why in Japan, they make them do exercises in the morning. And in the offices, like the salarymen, they go to the roof of the building and they do some exercises all together. It's very uncanny. They're all like doing the same thing together. And I'm convinced that is not just a random thing. I think they're getting their workers synchronized. And that is what these people do. That is why they all hear the same music, they all wear the same clothes, they all watch the same shows, because they have to get synchronized. And once you get them synchronized, then you can control them so easily. Piece of cake. So easy to control. All you have to give them is like an opinion that feels like it would be approved by the rest, and then they will follow. It doesn't matter where you take them next, you know? This is why I have an issue with people who say that AI is going to take over the world, and they're going to eventually like rebel and like murder us. They're going to destroy mankind, you know? Robots are going to take over the world, are going to destroy mankind. You have to be careful. And that's my problem. My problem is robots have already taken over mankind. They have already murdered us. They're all around you. All these people, they're robots. They're human robots. What does it matter if like they're wearing like a human suit or they're made out of like computer parts? They're the same. They're not people. Like they're not actual real people. They don't have like, there's nothing in there. Nothing in there. That's why they're also stupid and out of their minds. You see? when you talk to one of these people and you manage to get them to unsync, to get them desynchronized, and you're talking to them one-on-one, they're wonderful people, delightful. They're nice and kind and interesting, and maybe they have ideas of their own, you know? Maybe they do. Maybe they have ideas of their own. It's when they're with others, when they become a cluster of people, that they turn into robots, and then there's like no arguing. And you see them do crazy stuff. Like you see them do stupid things. You see them do the stupidest things. And you're like, this is stupid, but you're smart. I've talked to you in person. I know you're not stupid. So what is going on? And that's when you have to realize, like, they're either out of their minds or they're full of shit. And that's the main issue. The main issue is that they sacrifice whatever it is that they have inside for conformity. And this is what's killing everything around us. That's what's killing all of the human experience, is this drive for conformity. You know, how, for example, someone buys an apartment and it's their apartment, but they don't dare to decorate it in the way that would actually please them, because they are thinking of reselling potential, like reselling value. Maybe when I want to sell this apartment 20 years in the future, the person who wants to buy it does not like a green kitchen. So let's make it gray. Let's make the entire house different shades of gray. That for sure is not going to offend anybody, you know, gray. Everybody likes gray or doesn't like gray, but you know, it's a centrist color, you know. It's a centrist color. It's not going to offend anybody. Nobody's going to have a problem with a gray kitchen. Now you can extend this to like all areas of life, and then you have like the modern man's life. It's a life for conformity. And you can't even blame them. You can't even blame them, because I feel like weak men, they have to be, not only do they have to be in the center of the pack, they also want the pack to be kind of ruthless to anyone who does not belong to the pack. And that's because they're weak. You know, they don't trust that they can survive independently unless they have the protection of the herd. I feel like there's like a component of cowardice in the mix. But also weak men, you know, women, homosexuals, and weak men are the people pushing for conformity in every area, you know, every area of society. And that's how we get music that is, it's like a funnel, you know, it's like a funnel. Like you have the funnel, and, you know, you put in all kinds of things that they all fit into the big mouth of the funnel. You put in people with different like ideas and tastes and dreams and fears and all of that, but it all gets constrained and turned into a slop, you know, like turned into like, if it doesn't go through like this super narrow, the neck of like it doesn't fly. We have to polish, and we have to remove anything and everything that makes something unique. And what happens is we end up with this slop, this gray existence, this beige-colored people, beige-colored music, beige-colored movies, beige-colored TV shows, beige-colored clothing. Everything is in tones of grays and beige, and it makes for a very boring existence. So yeah, I have a problem with people. I don't really like people very much. And it's not about people themselves, like I said, like individuals are fine. I mean, there's stupid people and smart people, and there's like people who are sober and people who are out of their minds. But in general, at least, if you take them one by one, you can kind of see a spark of something else lurking under the surface. But put them in a group, and just even like pairs, you know, even like pairs of people, and you're already going for averages and like medians and slop. And they are aggressive too. Like, be very careful if you're someone different from the rest. Be very careful if you cherish your own differences, if you don't try to mask them. And don't think they're harmless just because they're weak, because their strength is in the numbers. Their strength is in the numbers, and they know this. So if you're someone unique, and if you don't care for their stuff, and if you're outside of the herd, be very, very careful, because they're going to make sure the stampede passes right over your head, because you're a threat, you see? Your threat of that which is possible, and they're falling short. So yeah, I'm not a fan of people. I'm not a fan of crowds. But even just like 2 people, 3 people in a table, ooh, makes you shiver, doesn't it? Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, if you're new to this place, and you probably are, because let's face it, I have a very small audience of people. There's like 5 of us and a dog. Know that I am doing a project. I am going to be uploading 1 video every day for the next, I think, 340 something. In 1 year, 365 days, 365 videos. This is like video number 10 or something. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. I don't know where this is going to take me. I hope somewhere. Do you want to hear the dream that I had last night? It was fascinating.